Yeah, we are. Robert Quinn just got traded just now within the last 5 minutes. A really good guy who we have enjoyed getting to know, was open about some struggles a couple years ago, but then last year exploded, obviously, 18 and a half sacks, and an unbelievable season, and had a pretty damn good game on Monday night, and I wonder how much that mattered. But a fourth-round pick is the official compensation now. Robert Quinn for a 4. From the Eagles' perspective. From the Bears' perspective, does this trade make sense for you, Boom?
Well, it does, considering how much money he was making, his age, and they figured that they had an opportunity to get a draft pick, and they know they're not going anywhere. That's also what it signals to the locker room. Or they want to free up some space on the field for some younger players that they want to look at. This is an evaluation process that's going on right now in Chicago, unfortunately, for the fans out there and for the reality of the league and what's going on. I think this is a great trade for Robert Quinn. I really do. He's going to a team that definitely has Super Bowl aspirations. I mean, I'm sure there's a little bit of upset players in the locker room for the Bears because they probably considered him one of their leaders. He has been a leader, by the way, and he's been a really good player. So this works out great for him. It's great for the Eagles. Now what happens with Roquan Smith, what happens moving forward here, that's going to be the next set of questions because Roquan's been playing well, and both he and Robert Quinn had voiced frustrations with where the Bears were going, and they don't want to be living in a world where you have another coach and another general manager and waste another year of your career. So I think it's good for him, guys. I really do. It just tells me that the Bears are just really trying to load up as many draft picks as they can get, save some money, maybe sign some free agents next year to get around Justin Fields and move on this way.
As it just went down, the Quinn trade news arrived as Roquan Smith was talking with reporters on the podium. Smith broke into tears and said, "Sucks. I have a great deal of respect for that guy." And then he started wiping tears away from his eyes, pulled the collar of his shirt up over his eyes, and then eventually was escorted away with the help of Bears PR. So it didn't even technically get to the locker room. It was right there, Roquan Smith's reaction out in front of everyone.
Yeah, and I understand that too because I've had players traded, from our locker rooms, and we've actually added players to locker rooms that I was a part of. And I don't think there aren't nearly as many trades back then as there are now, and especially now with the arms race going on in the NFC West. I'm sure the Green Bay Packers are looking for wide receiver help. There's a lot of phone calls being made right now, and I just think teams like the Bears, the Panthers, other teams around the league are understanding that maybe these teams are now looking to move forward with younger players and getting some money freed up off the salary cap, that kind of thing, so they can look into free agency next year. We're not done by any stretch of the imagination. By the way, the trade deadline is November 1st, so it is next week. And I would think that if guys are healthy, now's the time to be trading them as opposed to putting them out on the field and risking injury. So maybe Roquan Smith goes here before the end of the week, or maybe they decide to give him a contract extension of his own, and they keep him there. He's only 25 years old, and he's actually having a really good season in terms of tackles. But this is a team that, played their ass off on Monday night. Their defense played great, and I'm sure Roquan knows that and felt that coming back from New England. And that's part of the emotional attachment that he had to Robert Quinn.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, Boomer. I was looking forward so much to talking about the great win on Monday night, and we will. But you correctly point out this kind of inflection point that is this moment in the NFL season where teams have to declare, are you buyer, are you seller, are you in it? And the Bears players were feeling damn good coming out with that win. And you look around and the Packers are scuffling. Bears almost beat the Vikings with a furious second half comeback. And I'm sure those players, for better or for worse, as is the way in a locker room, feel like they could win the division. And they were starting to feel it a little bit and believe in themselves a little bit. Easy for us to say, the Bears are challenged. And as your first blush reaction was, that's an admission of that they're not going anywhere. That can be tough. You ever been in a locker room that gets that kind of signal from the front office when you actually believe you're better than they perhaps think you are?
Yeah, I did, and it's deflating. It is. It's the natural reaction to losing a close friend, the team leader. I think Robert was a captain for the Bears, So, they're 3-4. I mean, and the NFC is still way up in the air. I mean, there's so many teams that have losing records in the NFC. You would think that if you're a player in that locker room, if Justin Fields just figures it out. Now, I went back and looked at the film, the tape of Justin's performance on Monday night. There were times in this game where he looked like the kid that was at Ohio State. He was relaxed. He was standing in the pocket and he was delivering the ball. The touchdown pass he throws to Khalil Herbert, where Dietrich Wise is unblocked. That's a great play. People don't realize it, how hard that is for a quarterback to do that. But maybe he's starting to relax a little bit more, and maybe the locker room is starting to believe in him. And now all of a sudden this comes. It's definitely going to be deflating for the players in the locker room, and the coach and the general manager have got to, tell the players why they're doing this, what they owe the players an explanation, because they've been asking the players to follow the plan that we have put forth, and we're going to win with this plan, guys. And some of the players have bought in. I think most of them have. It looked like they really cared about, what they looked like on Monday night. And I was going to come on here and say, man, maybe they are starting to turn a little bit of a corner. But now this all of a sudden, I think, upsets all of that.
Well, it's interesting. I think both things might be able to be true. This is the right thing to do, but I think they have turned a corner. That was quite a win, and we're in a glow here when you go to New England and outcoach Bill Belichick. And I know he probably says that after every game. We got outcoached, when they lose. But boy, a great win for Matt Eberflus. And you know what they did, Boomer? They used the mini bye and changed a bunch of things in all three phases, and it all kind of worked. That's very encouraging from a coaching perspective, isn't it? Makes us feel good about the big picture.
Yeah, 100%. Now, let's face it, when you get 4 turnovers the way that they did, it makes it a little bit easier for the offense, as long as the offense doesn't turn it over, all that they had won themselves. But, a +3 coming in an NFL game means you should win the game, and they did. And they did, by taking a knee on the 2-yard line at the end of the game, which was really amazing. So it goes to show you that, Matt Eberflus knows what he's doing. They have won, 3 games. He's kind of slugging along, trying to figure out who his team is. And, you never know what's going on behind the scenes either. Out here with the New York Jets, they've had a disgruntled second-year wide receiver, Elijah Moore, wants to be traded, and he goes public with it. And it just gets ugly, and they're 5-2. And the coaches and everybody are probably saying, like, what the hell is this kid doing? There's no self-awareness. There could be behind the scenes the agent saying, hey, my guy wants to get traded. He doesn't have many years left, and he wants to make a run at the Super Bowl. So all of those conversations also could be going on behind the scenes. And I'm sure Roquan Smith's agents are in there saying, hey, if you're going to trade Robert Quinn, what are you saying to my guy? And you're not giving him a contract, so why don't we trade him now? So I would think maybe he may be next.
And while it goes against my nature to tend toward optimism in these situations, like if you watched the end of Monday night's game, you saw Trevis Gibson make a big play, and you saw another guy, Dominique Robinson.
Yeah, he's been a find.
Dominique Robinson, who is nothing but raw clay. He's not that far removed from being a wide receiver. And it is just starting to learn how his body works at this position. If this means more Dominique Robinson, if it can turn a rebuilding year into an accelerated developmental possibility for him, I'm in.
Yeah, and it sounds like exactly what they're doing. I mean, look, you trade one of your best players, one of the probably most popular players in your locker room, and you trade now. Like if I were a player in that locker room, I would be happy for Robert Quinn. I would really be happy for him because he probably is getting what he truly wants. He wants to be traded, and he wants to go to a team that has a chance to win, and he's going to the only undefeated team left in the NFL. So from that perspective, I would think, hey, you know what? Maybe the Bears did him right. That's what it feels like to me on the outside. But I know what the realities are on the inside. And if you're telling me that Roquan Smith was crying at his press conference today, then that tells me all I need to know about Robert Quinn's impact in that locker room.